I sat them all down at a table. They're all like, who's this chick? Who's this chick? Told them all the truth. I just straight sat there. Just sat there and said, listen, I've been with you all. I'm starting a webcam business. I'm going to get rich. Some of you are going to come with me to the top of the mountain, or if you're pissed off, you can fucking fly home. So a woman can't go around fucking people and pretend it's the same as a man running around fucking people. It's absolutely not the same. A man can only cheat if he loves someone else. If I have a woman who I truly love and I go out and fuck and I come back to her and I don't care about her and I only love my girl, that's not cheating. That's exercise. If she even talks to a dude, it's cheating. Because females are emotionally invested. I have no emotional investment. So no, I'm making this very, very clear. Any woman who was with me never even, the only men they spoke to besides me were my brother, and the guys online who were paying them. That is it. They were absolutely loyal to me. And if they weren't, they got fired. And any feminist will disagree with me, but I'll tell you something. Women are loyal to one thing on the planet. And the only thing they're loyal to is the man they want to have sex with. So every time there was a girl who I wasn't sleeping with, she never lasted long. So then I had these 4 big premises, all these overheads, all these managers that got out of control. So I cut down to like a special forces team of around 8 girls. And that's where I made my most money. When I had 4 girlfriends, my brother had 4 girlfriends, me, my brother, 8 women living in one house. And all the women adored us and they obeyed us. And at the peak, I was turning over 400 grand a month. Only an English or an American girl is stupid enough to be a hoe for free. Because over here, they'll be a hoe because they were drunk. They'll just be a hoe because they're dumb. Oh, I slept with a bunch of men. Oh, he was funny, so he jizzed on me. Like, they're just idiots. In Eastern Europe, they're far too intelligent for that. They understand that the #1 commodity a female has is beauty. And if they're born with it, they're not going to fucking waste it going out getting hammered and banging Joe whoever. They're not going to do that. They're not stupid like that. So Western girls are extremely easy to sleep with compared to Eastern European women. This is going to really piss the feminists off, but I'll tell you, it's the truth. It doesn't matter whether a woman wants to be a lawyer or a housemaker or a webcam girl. Unless she has a man directing her, she's going to fuck it up. They're just not built to be completely independent creatures. The women who go, I'm strong and independent. You're working for a man in a company and you're getting fucked by 10 men a month. You're not independent. It's just a lie. It's a lie. You're just undesirable. That's what you are. There's no such thing as an independent female. They're all relying on a man to some degree. Maybe I'm completely crazy. Maybe I'm full of shit, like you said. Maybe I am.
Boom, we're on. Today's guest, we've got Andrew Tate. How are you, Andrew?
I'm good, man. I'm glad to be here. I've been listening to your strong Scottish accent on the internet for a while, so it's good to hear it. Good to hear it in person.
4 times world champion kickboxer.
Yeah.
Playboy. Pimp. What else? You've got
I've done a few things. I've lived a very eclectic life, right? But yeah, I'm happy with those labels so far. Yeah. Except the one pimp. People always say pimp as if it's a negative thing, but I think a pimp is a very positive thing. I hope we get to talk about this and I get to defend the reputation of pimps throughout, history. I don't think they're bad people, so we'll talk about that as well.
Because you've got many labels, pickup artists, you drive about Lamborghinis, all the flash watches, travel the world. I think you've got 6 girlfriends, 8 girlfriends.
You're making my life sound very, very interesting. You're making my life sound good. Yeah, I do okay, man. I do okay. I just try and live as close as I can to my masculine imperative without hiding who I want to be or what I want to do or letting society program me. And I think if you give a man true free reign, completely be who you want to be and you don't let society program you, he's going to drive a fast car. He's going to have a bunch of women. He's going to want to have a bunch of money. He's going to do whatever he wants, right? We all want to be free. So I try my very best to be free.
What is free to you?
That's a good question. And especially in the modern political climate with all this corona, et cetera, I think freedom is being destroyed in real time. Even before corona, freedom is being destroyed. If you look at even very basic things, right? Like freedom of speech. If a man isn't free to say what he thinks in the way he wants to say it, if political correctness or hate speech or whatever. If a man can't even express himself the way he thinks it, is he free? And what they do first is they restrict your speech, because if they restrict your speech, then they can start to restrict your thoughts. If you're not allowed to ever say it, then you're probably not going to think it so often. This is why it's done on purpose. So I don't think that society is very free at all. And I think that in regards to keeping our employment, keeping our money coming in, making sure we don't lose our social medias, every single person has to censor themselves to some degree. And I try very, very best to skirt that line, as far as possible. So I feel free. Freedom is the ability to scream when you want to scream, be angry when you want to be angry, smile when you want to smile, say what you want, do what you want. And that's a very, very rare commodity in the modern world. That's extremely rare. So that's what I would consider freedom.
Yeah. You're very outspoken. You don't hold back. We'll touch on everything. Your thoughts on women and like all the girlfriends. You've had many. And you've still got many now. So, but I always go back to the start of my guest, brother. Where you grew up, how it all began.
Okay, so I am half English, half American. My father was in the Air Force. He was based at Chick Sands in the UK. He met my mother. They were fortunate enough to have this perfect child you see in front of you. I have a brother and a sister. We moved back to America, and I lived the first 10 years of my life in the United States. And my father was a chess master. That was his job. After he retired from the Air Force, he was a professional chess player. So I grew up around professional chess players, which is kind of an unusual climate to grow up in, because you're growing up around all these ultra intelligent, semi-autistic. They're weirdos, right? Yeah. You can't be that good at chess and be normal, right? They're like human calculators. They're all a bit strange, and you have ex-KGB members and like math nerds, and it's just a very weird kind of climate. And my father was a chess master, but my father was very unique because my father was also a professional wrestler and had physicality. So you have like a bunch of dorks. Then you have my dad, this big black dude, and he's like competing in the chess world. So I grew up in a very kind of strange world, and I was a professional chess player. I was on my path to being a professional chess player. At the age of 5, I was the state chess champion for Indiana, and I was the best ranked player under the age of 10, and I was on my way. So I played chess for the early part of my life, and then at the age of 11, my mother and father split up. My mom took me back to Luton. Great place. Lovely. Mm-hmm. So from the age of 11, I grew up in Luton. So that's the very beginning of the story. And a lot's happened between now and then, and here I am. So
how was that breakup for you? Do you think that's what made you into the man you are today with women and all the shit that you do? Yeah,
that's a good question. And a lot of people talk about how stressful it was that their parents broke up. And I mean, obviously I was very, very young. I don't think I was necessarily too upset by it. You know, I was still, my father was very realistic with me, and he said, look, I'm still going to see you, but you're going to England. It is what it is. So I don't think I was particularly upset by it. I definitely wouldn't say I was traumatized by it, but it did alter my life trajectory because I lost my chess coach. Up until then, I played chess 3-4 hours a day. It's all I did was chess, chess, chess. When we left, not only is there no chess scene in England like there's in America. In America, there's lots of chess in the schools and these kind of things. There's no chess scene. Plus I had no coach. So for a while I was kind of lost, I would say. I had 4 hours free a day that I never used to previously have. And, I mean, I didn't get into too much trouble or too much mischief, but I was certainly a bit, how can I replace this thing I used to do all of the time?
What did you replace it with?
I ended up replacing it with fighting.
Yeah, from a young age?
From around about 15, 16, I started kickboxing. And I think that fighting and chess are extremely similar. To me, they aligned. They fulfilled the same gaps in my psyche, right? People always say, how did you go from being a chess player, which everyone sees as geeky, to a kickboxer? And I said, well, chess is one-on-one battle, right? That's all it is. There's no luck involved. There's no team. There's no wind that can blow the ball. There's no, it's one-on-one. It's a fight. If you lose, you messed up. And fighting feels the same for me. So for me, I thought, well, okay, I can't learn chess well enough without a coach. And I can't find a coach in the UK who I trust to teach me chess, but I can find a coach who can teach me to kick people's ass. So that's kind of how it started.
How did you end up going through the ranks and winning world titles?
Fighting's kind of weird, right? I think if you talk to any fighter, everyone who starts, I mean, lots of people say they had aspirations of being the world title or the world champion at the beginning. I just turned up to training one step at a time, right? I just wanted to be good. So my coach said, you have to train 7 times a week. I was like, okay. So I just obeyed. I was just a worker ant. I just did as I was told. And then you win and you win again and you win again and you get a title shot, you win. And before you know it, you get up there. My first ever world title fight was on 3 days notice. So someone pulled out and I had 3 days notice. I had to lose 9 kilo in 3 days. I turned up, obviously was completely destroyed from the weight cut. Everyone expected me to lose. And I won. But they gave and I'll say I won because I did win. They gave the decision to the other guy. It was in France and it was in Paris and it was me against the French world champion. They gave it to him. But I whooped his ass, right? And we submitted the video to the ISKA, the organization, and they demanded a rematch because it was so obvious I won. And we fought again. And without the big weight cut problem, I knocked him out in the 8th. And I became world champion for the first time.
How was that for you?
It was good, but I don't ever feel like I'm satisfied. I never won the world title and go, yes, I'm the champ now. It's just like, okay, next. I was kind of always like that. I always had these aspirations. I've always kind of felt, without sounding like a crazy conspiracy theorist, even now to this day, I feel, maybe, correct me, you're a smart man, so maybe this will make sense to you. Do you ever look around you and just look at the world and feel like kind of like we're in the Matrix. Like there's something missing.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
It's just you feel it in your gut.
Yeah, something isn't right here. Like everything just seems so superficial. And I don't know. I was always looking for this secret. I was always looking for, I wouldn't say happiness or contentment, but I was always looking to try and break out of the 9 to 5, just the normal monotony of day-to-day life. And for a long time, I thought fighting was my way out. I don't know what I was trying to get to. I don't know where it was going to lead. But when I just look at the normal life a lot of people live, that is just absolutely depressing to me.
Yeah.
I couldn't imagine doing it. I'm not shitting on the normal guy. I'm saying you're a stronger man than me. Because if I was a normal dude working in Starbucks, bro, I couldn't do that. I couldn't do that day to day. I literally could not do that. And I thought fighting will make sure I never have to do that, if that makes sense.
Did you ever find this sense of completion? Were you winning world titles or were you still unsatisfied?
There's always someone new to beat up, right?
Yeah.
And then even then, I'm dedicating all my time to fighting, which is actually the reason I retired. I retired for 4 years. I came back last year and I fought 3 times. But I actually retired because one day I woke up and I looked at my life and I thought, I'm giving 7 hours a day to fighting. If I were to put 7 hours a day into something else, what else could I achieve? Because I had a little bit of money from fighting, but I wasn't balling. I wasn't rich. And I thought, what's the point in being the world champion if I can't buy Lambos on the debit card, right? What's the point? So then I thought, well, I want to be rich now. So that's actually the reason I retired. So I was always chasing other things. And then now I've got money, I want to fight again. I'm never happy, bro. This is how it goes, right? You're always chasing something else. But I do feel like to a degree, I have at least partially escaped the matrix I used to be talking about. I kind of feel like I've started to escape. And Corona, as much as it's been a headache for everybody, has helped me realize how fortunate I am in my position. To when everyone else is locked down, I can just get on a private jet and go where I want, right? So that it's kind of cool when they go, there's no flights. I'm like, not for you. There's flights for me, bro. So it's kind of, I felt like I've semi-escaped. So I've kind of got there.
When did you start chasing the money? What, after kickboxing? Like you started a webcam business, 75 girls?
Yes. Let's talk about the webcam business. Yeah. Yes. So that's the story. So for anyone watching this who doesn't know my story, I'm fighting. I became 4-time world champion. I was 28 when I won my 4th world title. And one day I woke up and I literally just woke up. I looked at my bank. I just won a world title fight, but I hadn't fought in 6 months. By the time I paid all my back rent and paid my car payments, all that, I looked at my bank. I had like $3,000, $4,000 in there. And I'm like, I'm giving up my entire life and I don't even know how I'm going to live. I need to get rich. I want to get rich. So I said to my coach, look, I'm going to take a couple months off and I'm going to focus purely on money. And the story is, and this is a completely true story, I'm sitting with my brother and I'm like, how can we get rich? You know what's amazing? Now I have money. Lots of people always ask me, how do I get rich? And I say, when's the last time you talked about money? When's the last time you sat down with your friends and refused to talk about anything else but how to make money? How are you making money? How are you making money? How am I making money? How can we make money together? How's that guy making money? How's that coffee shop there making money? Is that coffee shop making money? I don't know. Do they sell cake? No. Why don't they sell cake? Everyone in here is a businessman. If they had a cute young waitress, a girl, instead of a guy, they'd probably sell more coffee. Like no one analyzes anything. They just want to get rich, right? I want to be rich, but they have no plan to get rich. And a hope and a plan are very different things. I explain this to people all the time. Everyone has a dream, but no one has a plan. And nothing good is going to happen on accident, right? I didn't become world champion on accident. I didn't wake up and someone go, how'd you become world champion? And I went, oops, you have to plan for it. So I said to Tristan, we need to discuss money. We need to plan this and we need to work out a way we can get rich. And that's when I started analyzing and understanding banks and the credit system and the money system, how the world actually works. And then I got really pissed off because I realized that money isn't real and it's all a scam. And the banks are destroying us in real time with inflation. And I still don't have any. So I was really mad. And I'm writing down, I was watching some YouTube videos like financial advice and we're talking about assets, liabilities, etc. And I'm writing down all my assets. And I'm trying to work out what I have that's worth money. And the only thing I writ down, because I had a car, but what's that worth? Nothing. I'm big and strong, but I'm already fighting. I can't think of anything else to do with that. The only thing I had was, because I'd been fighting all around the world, I had these 6 girlfriends, right? Because you'd win the world title, you fuck a ring girl, she falls in love with you, you're the big millionaire in London, of course. She thinks you live in the balling life. You're in some tiny apartment with a door lock. So, I had these girlfriends and I thought, well, I can't open a strip club. It costs money to open a strip club. And I'm kind of racking my brain. And by absolute coincidence, I'm going around the internet and I saw in the corner talk to live girls now. And I'd never in my life, like, I was never a porn guy. I've never been watching porn or clicking on these things. And I said, talk to live girls. So I clicked on it and there's some chick there on a computer, like, hi, did it. And I was like, my girls can do that. So that was the very beginning. That was the eureka moment. And I walked into my brother's bedroom and I said, we're going to start a webcam company. That was the beginning of it all.
And how do you end up getting 75 girls to work for you?
Yeah. So, and this is the thing that's interesting about it, because when people hear this story and they say like a pimp, etc., people imagine me to be this exploitive, horrible, evil man, which is absolutely and utterly the complete opposite. I'm not trying to convince the internet I'm a nice guy, right? Because I don't give a shit. I'm just telling the truth. So the beginning of it was I messaged my 6 girlfriends and told them they're all coming to live with me, and I had a job for them in London. 2 of them wouldn't come. 4 of them agreed. And I was like, we're going to make money, load of money, a bunch of money. You're going to live with me, blah, blah, blah. We're going to live the dream. Right now, I'm in between apartments, so I'm in this shitty apartment, you know, because kickboxing's not boxing, bro. You're not making millions like the boxers are. So the 4 girls flew in. I sat them all down at a table. They're all like, who's this chick? Who's this chick? Told them all the truth. I just straight sat there. Just sat there and said, listen, I've been with you all. I'm starting a webcam business. I'm going to get rich. Some of you are either going to come with me to the top of the mountain, or if you're pissed off, you can fucking fly home. Which is very matter of fact to the point, because I needed money. At this point, now I have not agreed to take another fight. I need money now. So 2 of them left. 2 of them agreed to stay. And the beginning of my cam empire was this tiny little apartment, me and my 2 girlfriends living in this house, right? And they went on cam together as a duo, as a team, to start making money. And that was the beginning of it. And the interesting thing about it was these girls were so inept from a business perspective. Like, they were very beautiful and they're nice girls. So I can't say anything bad about them, but they were not, women do not have a business mind. So they'd sit on webcam, right? And an old dude would sit there, and the old dude would say, what kind of guy do you like? And they'd say, oh, I don't know, someone in shape who's rich and young. And I'd be like, no, he's an old dude. You have to say, I'm tired of these young guys messing me around. I need an older guy who's ready to settle down. I don't care if he has money as long as he'll take care of me. If he's a young guy, you say, I'm tired of these old guys perving on me. You need to sell the dream. So I'm training these girls. And it got to the point where it was easier if I just typed myself. So what we ended up doing was we had the 2 girls on camera with a keyboard, which wasn't plugged in, doing this. And then I was behind the screen talking to the dudes, saying the right things, and start dragging money out the internet. And for me, I mean, this is a long time ago, right? This is about, how old am I now? I'm 34. So I was about 28. So about 6, 7, maybe 8 years ago, right? And making money online nowadays is far more popular than it was even 8 years ago. Who do you know 8 years ago who made money from YouTube or from online?
Yeah,
nobody.
It's just booming. It's just starting.
It's just starting. So when I started dragging money from the internet, it was like mind blowing to me. And I'm sitting there typing, and I'd type 16, 17 hours a day, but I'd pull in, let's say, $3,000 a day, $4,000 a day. So that became my new life, right? I went from kickboxer to fucking pretend girl on the internet for about 3 months. I'm just typing until the girls learn. And once the girls learn, they could do it themselves. Then I thought, I don't know, I need some more chicks. And that was kind of the beginning of the cam empire. Yeah, that's how it worked.
What's the most girls you've had working with you?
So here's the problem. Here's what's interesting about it. So the most girls at any one point, I had 4 premises, and I had 75 girls on the books. They weren't all working at once, but I had 75 girls who would do like 1 shift a week or 3 days a week or 7 days a week. 75 women worked for me at the peak of it all. But that was a mistake, because when you have a bunch of girls working for you like that, the only way you can motivate them is with money. And it's better if, when I started, the girls worked for me because they loved me, right? That's the old school pimp game, isn't it? I love this man. We're on our way to the top together. We're going to go Maldives. We're making all this money. You know, it's the old school dream. But when you get too big, you can't have all these girls in love with you. I mean, you can only fuck so much. Like, we're all human, right? So you can't deal with that many women. So then you have to motivate them with money. And if you're trying to motivate a woman with money, it's impossible, because, and any feminist will disagree with me, but I'll tell you something. Women are loyal to one thing on the planet. And the only thing they're loyal to is the man they want to have sex with. That is it. If a woman's working for you and she's making 10 grand a week, but her man who's banging her is like, I don't want you at that. Who's the fuck is this guy pimping you out? You're there with this dude. He thinks he's something. No, fuck him, quit. They're going to quit. Or he'll say, we can do it together, even though they can't, because there's a whole bunch of people think it's easy, right? It's not easy. You need equipment. You need sort out the tax, the banking. You need to know how to handle the guys. It's not easy to do. So every time there was a girl who I wasn't sleeping with, she never lasted long. So Then I had these 4 big premises, all these overheads, all these managers that got out of control. So I cut down to like a special forces team of around 8 girls. And that's where I made my most money. When I had 4 girlfriends, my brother had 4 girlfriends, me, my brother, 8 women living in one house. And all the women adored us and they obeyed us. And at the peak, I was turning over 400 grand a month.
With 8 girls?
With 8 girls, yeah.
He's all sleeping with the same girls?
No, so he had his 4, I had my 4. We don't mix. We don't mix.
So how do those 4 girls accept just to be with you? Do those other girls sleep with other people or talk?
Absolutely not. That's cheating, bro. A woman can't do that. That's cheating. It's fine if I do. I'm a man. If a woman sleeps with multiple people, that's cheating. That's absolutely unacceptable on every level. That's unacceptable. And anyone's going to sit here and say, oh, it is acceptable. No, it isn't. Men and women are not the same. We've never been the same. This new think idea that men and women are the same is complete garbage that's been invented, right? For the longest period of human history, men had a role and women had a role. Men have never been faithful. Ever. Look at history. Every single king, every single sultan had more than one woman. Look at the history. Read the Bible. It's all there. Never in any point in history was there a woman with a bunch of men and that was accepted. Female promiscuity has always been frowned upon. Since the dawn of human time, it's been frowned upon. In fact, only 100 years ago, you couldn't get married unless you were a virgin. It was the only thing that mattered because it ensures paternity. How else do you know that kid is yours before a paternity test unless she was a virgin? It's the only way to be sure. You understand what I'm saying? So women, for the longest period of human time, the idea of a promiscuous female has been frowned upon and shamed. In half of the world today, it's still shamed. So a woman can't go around fucking people and pretend it's the same as a man running around fucking people. It's absolutely not the same. A man can only cheat if he loves someone else. If I have a woman who I truly love and I go out and fuck and I come back to her and I don't care about her and I only love my girl, that's not cheating. That's exercise. If she even talks to a dude, it's cheating because females are emotionally invested. I have no emotional investment. So no, I'm making this very, very clear. Any woman who was with me never even, the only men they spoke to besides me were my brother, and the guys online who were paying them. That is it. They were absolutely loyal to me. And if they weren't, they got fired.
And these women obey you. How does that happen? How do you get that to happen?
You get that to happen through showing competence. If every single thing in life is a value exchange, every single thing in life, even friendships are a value exchange. You think of who your best friend is, right? You gain something and he gains something through your interaction, right? Either it makes you feel happy or he can help you with some things or you help each other. Every single thing in life is a value exchange. So I have to provide value for these women for them to want to be with me. You can't just be some jackass. People have this idea that, oh, you're a pimp. You just get these girls and you say work and they're scared of you and they just work. It's bullshit. I was doing this in London. A girl could have walked out the door any day, called the police on me any day. And they didn't. They wanted to be with me because they genuinely understood that their life was better if they obeyed me. They genuinely trusted me. And they genuinely also understood that if they're going to be with any kind of high value man, he's going to fucking cheat anyway. So why hide it? Isn't it easier to know the bitch? Isn't it easier to at least suck her tits a bit and join in? Like, what's the point in pretending you're with a guy and pretending he's loyal and he's out doing whatever anyway? There's no difference. So I know it seems like extremely, it seems extreme. But these girls were making good money. They're living a very good life. They're with a man they love. They're with these other girls who are their best friends. And it was a pretty happy environment overall. I had to do a lot of policing because when you're the patriarch of that kind of environment, you do have to do a lot of policing. But all in all, there was no disrespect in the house. There was no arguments in the house. I wouldn't tolerate a negative environment. That's bad for business. There's not going to be any Debbie Downer around pissing everyone off because they're not going to smile on cam. So it was a very happy interaction. And my girls just understood, look, I'm fucking all of you. If you don't like it, leave.
What's your opinion on equal rights, women, men, 50-50?
I don't think the world has ever been equal. I think this whole idea of equal rights, I do believe we should have equal rights under the law, right? I'm not saying that women should completely and utterly be slaves. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that the modern society we live in has been built by men. Let's cut the crap. All the roads you see, all the buildings you see, everything around you, men built. All of it. When women come along and say, oh, we're just as important, you are just as important, but you had a completely different role. You fulfilled a different role in society. And I think now, if you look at the roles of society, I believe men are still doing their job, but I don't know if women are doing their job. Women's job always was procreation, to look after the family and to look after the man. That's all that they had to do. And the man would go out there and risk his life and spend his time building the modern world. Men are still out here building the modern world. But when they come home now, the girl's like, oh, why should I cook for you? I think women are failing in their role. I think women are failing. And that's down to the propaganda that's being That's down to the propaganda that's being propagated by the system, right? The Western world is convincing women that they're a high value woman if they don't take shit from a man, don't look after a man, and work really hard in a career. And I just think that's asinine. Why wouldn't you want to work really hard for your babies and for your man as opposed to working in some business that doesn't even care about you, that's going to furlough you as soon as Corona comes?
What do you think of a man's role on this planet?
I think a man's role on this planet is also another thing that we need to redefine to some degree, right? I think a man's role on this planet has changed, but from the dawn of human time, a man's role has always been the capability for violence. This is what men were, right? When I look at the world, I look at it from a societal perspective and I look at it from an animalistic perspective. Society has told us to be certain ways, and then our animal instinct tells us to be another way. So society tells you to marry one woman and be loyal, right? And then you have me saying men are not supposed to do that. We don't want to do that. Any man who sits there and says, I want to do that is lying. He wants to keep the woman he loves, and he wants the woman he loves to be happy. Of course. But if he could keep the woman he loves and keep her happy and have other women, he would. What? You're lying if you say that's not true, right? So from an animal perspective, a man's primary role was the capability for violence. We went to war. We conquered stuff. We built stuff. We conquered. That's what men did. We conquered. To this day, still now, if you look at men, many of them are still trying to conquer the world one way or another. Why did you start this podcast?
Attention, make a bit of money.
Conquer the world.
Yeah.
This is what I'm saying, right? Why does the CEO work 15 hours a day for some fucking conglomerate while the women don't want to work that much, or they'll work hard, but they want to also have a life outside of work? Why do men give up their lives for work? Is it just for money, or is it because they feel important and they feel like they're conquering? This is what I'm saying. Men have that drive inside of them. And this is since the dawn of human time. Why did I fight? Why did men climb Mount Everest? Why did the Romans melt rocks, make swords, and walk in random directions to find somebody, anybody, to fuck them up and take their stuff? This is who we are. So this is what men always were. And I think now that's got redefined. Obviously, we want to live in a peaceful society now, right? We can't just run around with swords. So a lot of the male instinct to conquer Earth is financial. I think this is why men work so hard. This is why men are so obsessed with money. Or they should be. They absolutely should be obsessed with money.
What do you say if a guy was working a 9 to 5, married to a woman, had a couple of kids, going his 2 or 3 holidays a year, and he said to you he was happy?
I'd say congratulations. I would genuinely say congratulations. If you're happy with that, and I know that's like a pretty normal setup. If you're happy with that, absolutely congratulations, and I don't look down on you. That's perfectly fine. But some men are just not born that way. Some men are born with something else inside of them, with a fire inside of them, which cannot be extinguished by beans on toast, TV at night, 9 to 5, sitting around with your wife, a couple blowjobs a month. Some men are not satisfied with that. I know me as an individual, I could not be satisfied with that. That doesn't mean I look down on the people who are. Absolutely, congratulations. But my time on the planet, I guarantee, will be more eventful. I will die with more stories. I would have made a bigger ripple in space-time because I refuse to comply with just the average, this is okay, you'll be happy with this, take it. There's always been that class of person. Even since the dawn of time, there's been the normal guy, and then there's been the dude who insists on conquering the world. There's been Napoleon who says, no, fuck you. I'm taking this and this and this. It depends what you're born with, right?
What is that greed? So for you making over $500,000 a month,
yep,
shagging girls everywhere,
yep,
Lamborghinis, Ferraris,
yep,
houses all around the world,
yep,
were you ever fulfilled? Were you ever satisfied, or did you constantly want more?
I think I constantly wanted more, but I don't know if...
Where does it end, though?
But I don't think it needs to end, my friend. Why does it need to end? Why does it need to end? This is it. Like, I think one of the biggest mistakes a man can make is to judge his life. Let me reword this. I think a man should have absolutely no interest in whether he's actually happy or not. If I wake up and I'm unhappy, I will do the exact same things as if I am happy. I will go to the gym the same. I will work the same. How I feel has no impact on how I live my life. I don't think happiness as an index is a healthy view for a man to have on life success. Women are different. Women just want to be happy, right? Women just want to smile. They don't care how. They don't care if they deserve it or not. As long as they get to smile, women are happy. That's women. But I think for a man, if you're waking up and going, oh, am I happy? Am I not? You're looking at life wrong. I think of a man, if you put happiness if you move it down the scale, right? And you start looking at, am I successful? Am I competent? You know, am I achieving things? Am I respected? If you start to look at these indicators of your life, you're going to end up being happier without actually analyzing if you're happy or not. So for me, I understood very, very well that $500,000 a month is good, but $1 million a month is better. And I also very, very much understood that as soon as you stop pushing forward, as soon as you go stagnant, you're dying, right? As soon as you stay in one place, you're slowly on the way down. Right? If your podcast, if your channel now were to stagnate in views, you'd be worried. That's effectively dying. It has to grow at all times. So every business has to work. So for me, I was under enormous pressure. I didn't think, oh, I have plenty of money now. It was the complete opposite. I wanted to work harder, more hours. I found the tap. Bro, if there was a golden tap that unlimited money, and you had buckets and you took one bucket of money, would you just take that bucket or would you run back and get another bucket and run back and run? I couldn't stop. I couldn't sleep. I'd wake up to go piss at 3 a.m, take a piss. And by the time I finished pissing, I'd be like, I've slept 3 hours. That's enough. And wake the chicks up and put them back online. I couldn't get out of my brain because I saw that I'd replaced fighting, which I loved, with this. And this was my chance to escape the matrix. Bro, this has been inside of me since as early as I can remember. I remember walking to sixth form college. I was 16. Or 17 with my 4 friends, and a Ferrari burnt past us. I said to my boys, I was like, man, how'd that guy get that car? And they're like, don't know. I was like, doesn't that annoy you? Like, why would it annoy me? Because we're going to school. Our parents are on council estates. Like, we're trying to scrape 20 pounds a week to eat. This dude has 400 grand for a car. Doesn't that aggravate you? Doesn't that show you that there's something about the world you do not understand? That you're missing something? And they're all like, not really. And they're all the dudes who are right now at home, 9 to 5, couple blowjobs, da-da-da. I was never that guy. I was pissed off for weeks because I saw some dude in his Ferrari. Do you understand? I was like, no, I have to. So now when I push my Ferrari, I'm like, this is the full circle. This is the universe giving me what I've always been manifesting. Does that make sense? Yeah. So now when people say, Andrew, why do you have 17 supercars? Because I have 17. I have every brand you can fucking name. I have 17 cars. I have over $10 million of cars. So because it was a car, these cars used to piss me off. So now I have to have them all. I don't even drive them. I have to have them. I'm trying to conquer the earth, my friend. Maybe I'm crazy, but this is what I'm trying to do. It's what I've always been trying to do. So I've never been satisfied. To this day, I'm making more money now than I was making in my cam days. I'm still not happy.